This is the eighth session of industrial economics, which is related to again the industrial classification. And under this, I am going to discuss about the joint sector. In the last session, I have discussed about the private sector, but now in this session, I am going to discuss about the joint sector. Introduction. The joint sector represents a new ideology of economic management geared to subservice a new economic system. The term is applied to an undertaking only when both its ownership and control are effectively shared between public sector agencies on the one hand and a private group on the other. The basic idea underlying the concept is combination of joint management, ownership, control, and professional management. Definition of joint sector. The joint sector would include units in which both public and private investments have taken place and where the state takes an active part in direction and control. It is said by the Dutt Committee. Second definition, enterprises is intended to form a partnership between the private sector and the government, in which the government participation of the capital will not be less than 26%, per routine management will be normally in the hands of the private sector partner, and control and supervision will be duly exercised by the governing board, on which government is adequately represented by JRD Tata. So features of joint sector. So features of joint sector can be explained with the following points. The first feature of joint sector is the central government and private entrepreneurs may jointly set up new enterprises. Sometimes the central government and one or more states governments together may set up enterprises in partnership with the private sector. Second feature is the state government or their individual development corporations may set up new companies jointly with private partners, involving equity participation by both the partners. Third feature, public financial institutions may, through equity participation or conversion of loans or debentures into equity, transform enterprises promoted by private entrepreneurs into joint sector companies. Fourth feature, the existing private enterprises may be transformed into joint sector enterprises by the government or government companies acquiring a part of equity or converting debt into equity or by contributing to an increase in the share capital. Fifth feature, the existing public sector companies may be transformed into joint sector enterprises through the sale of some equity shares to private entrepreneurs or the general public. Role of joint sector in India. Role of joint sector in India can also be explained with the following points. The first point says curbing the concentration of economic power. Government participation in the ownership and management of enterprises jointly with private entrepreneurs could be an effective means for controlling monopoly, concentration of economic power, and business malpractices. Second one, social control over industry. Government participation in equity and management is expected to give a social orientation to the enterprises. The joint sector would ensure that the management of industry is conducted according to the overall policies laid down by the government, and that public interest and not merely private profit would guide the operations of the enterprises. Third point, acceleration of economic growth. The joint sector, by mobilizing and augmenting the productive resources, can accelerate the pace of economic growth. It enables private entrepreneurs and the state agencies to promote or invest in a greater number of projects than would otherwise be possible. So next part, problems of the joint sector. So first problem of the joint sector is, while in principle of concept appears acceptable, guidelines in terms of the roles of the government and private partners in managing and controlling joint sector enterprises still remain to be spelled out. From the point of view of the private investors, uncertainty about their role in management and control has been a major inhibiting factor. Second problem, the rationale of setting up joint sector projects was mainly for developing backward areas, reducing concentration of economic power, and to accelerate industrial development. But in reality, often the purpose of which for which the joint sector projects were set up was unrelated to these basic objectives. Third problem, the interfacing between a purely government agency whose commitment and accountability are vastly different and a private group whose main motivation is likely to be commercial profitability is not always smooth. Fourth point, it is also expected that the joint sector will promote the mixed economy and help to achieve development objectives. The basic justification of the idea of mixed economy is to harness all the productive forces of society, state as well as private, to this task of economic development with a view to accelerating the process. Fifth point, another advantage of the joint sector is that it helps broad-based entrepreneurship by encouraging new and small entrepreneurs. The joint sector enables potential entrepreneurs with small financial resources and less experience to participate in large enterprises as the public sector shares investment and the risk. Sixth point, the joint sector has the potential to grow as an alternative to both the public and private sectors in the mixed economy of India. The main advantages of the joint sector is that it combines the favorable points in the public as well as the private sector and seeks to eliminate the negative point. Seventh point, growth with welfare can be achieved more readily through the agency of joint sector. For expansion and diversification in this sector will not generate concentration of economic power. The joint sector run and managed on business lines with specific emphasis on welfare of the surrounding community can be the most useful formula. So we can summarize this session by saying, in fine, it may be stated that the joint sector, if managed properly, can be a viable alternative to both state capitalism with its risk of bureaucratization on the one hand and private capitalism with its acute inequality in the distribution of wealth and income.